Hey there, welcome to Art of J Mill. I am J Mill, and I have been gone for too long. No. Today I have a piece here that I worked on as part of a character swap for the group Illustrati, which is kind of a cool group. It's a lot of fancy artists and cool people. And they had a contest, they had a challenge going. It was a character swap challenge. It went from May 1st to the 15th. They have one at the beginning of every month. And this is the piece I worked on. I think her name's pronounced Aesmir, I think. Her name is Aesmir the Falls, and I got this from a person named Guykiddart. You can check out his stuff on Instagram. I'll put a thingy in the description below. And yeah, this piece took me a really long time to work on because it was such a cool concept and I didn't want to screw it up. I got so nervous. It took about 34 hours for me to finish it, and even after I finished it, I went and asked for critiques, and then I got critiques and then worked on it a little longer. I don't have the critiqued piece up here, but you're welcome to go check out my Instagram and see it there. It's cool. I like what I did with the water, but it still could use some work. But anyways, moving on from that, critiques are fun, aren't they? Critiques can help you get really good at your stuff a lot faster than usual if you're in the right group of people. I wouldn't suggest just throwing yourself out there anywhere and saying, hey, tell me what you think of this, because there's a lot of people who control you, a lot of people that just want to be hateful for no reason. So I picked my art groups. I have only a handful of them, maybe 3 or 4 that I participate in, and they're really helpful. They really do try to better you. They're not just hateful towards you or anything like that. They really do try to help you out. So I think it would be pretty important to try to find that support group that'll really help you grow as an artist. So I went through a lot of effort doing this piece. I did a couple thumbnails. I didn't do as many as I wanted to, but I did do a few. And then I went through and just roughly sketched out what I wanted to do for her. I didn't really have a lot of information on what to do with her, so I pretty much kept her in the same type of area. I don't know how big she was compared to humans. I didn't know if she was human size. I didn't know if she was just in the sky or on a waterfall somewhere else. But I kind of just went with something that looked very similar and then tried to draw it. It kind of turned out into a draw it in my style sort of thing. But the easiest part for me was probably the coloring, because I just borrowed the colors from the original piece to keep it unified. But doing all of this, especially the anatomy and everything, I don't even know if the anatomy looks good. It looks good to me, but that's because I worked so long on it that I don't know. I used a lot of references. I think for her body alone, just the torso and legs, I think I used 5 different references for just putting that together so I could figure out how it would work, because I'm not great at anatomy yet. I've been working really hard on it, but I don't know. It still needs a lot of work. Actually, I really liked working on those horns. The horns are really fun to work with because I really do like skeletons, bones, that sort of thing. So doing the horns was fun, and that angle was, I thought it was going to be really challenging, but it ended up being a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So thank goodness for that. The mist I wanted to create something that was mostly censored because I don't really want a lot of... I'm not against drawing nudity or anything like that, but as far as posting and stuff, I want to keep things mostly PG for my channel, my Instagram, and all that, because I have a lot of family members who wouldn't even be able to look at my stuff if I posted just whatever I drew. So I try to cleverly cover it up. I don't know if the mist from the waterfall was the best way to cover her up, but it was the only thing I could think of. You do see that tree pop in and out, and I just couldn't justify the tree. Like, where's the tree coming from? Is it just floating in the sky with her? I could have put a tree on one of the rocks, but then I felt like it would make the piece so crowded because I wanted her to be the centerpiece, and then there were the rocks, and then if I had a tree, it would just put too many things in there. So I stuck with the mist. Believe it or not, for the waterfall, I think I used 2 pictures for reference, and they were both just flowing water over some rocks, because I guess that's all I needed. I just kept it open on the side. Like, I work in Procreate for these, so I had Procreate open on the right side of my screen, and on the left side of my screen I had Pinterest opened, and I found a picture of flowing water, and it had the sun hitting it just right, and I used that and just left it open the whole time. I briefly would check back and forth to see how the water was running across the rocks, because that's how I usually use reference. I try to think about how something is working and why it's working the way it is, and I wanted to try to get the feel for it there. In all honesty, I must have been really tired working on a lot of this because I did work so long on it, and a lot of the things didn't look as good as I thought they did a couple days later. So that's why I went through and got critiques and stuff, because I just wasn't seeing things anymore. Like, I was too close to my own piece, and I couldn't tell if it was good or if it wasn't good anymore. I couldn't really tell how anything was looking because I was just too close to it and I worked too long on it. And I'm really proud of this piece. I really liked it. I was disappointed it was somebody else's character. But I really did enjoy this piece, and it's probably one of my favorite things I've ever done, and I hope it pushes me in a new direction. And that's another reason why I think challenges like character swaps and the monthly challenges, they can really help you out a lot, because I would have never thought to draw this character. I would have never thought to draw all this water. The character with horns, that's not something I would normally do. But because of this, and all of the research I did, and all of the references I had to find, and because of those references, I have new pins on Pinterest because I saw other stuff. Now I have a bunch of ideas for something else. So don't be afraid to do some challenges, even if it's just one piece. I would go for it, just for the fun of it. Yeah, I had to add them glowy bits everywhere. I've been really obsessed with the glow brush, the luminescent type things in Procreate, and I've been sort of looking for excuses on where to use them. I tried to make sure that I had the sun aiming in a good direction, but I think in the end it just kind of confused everything. If you take a look at the updated piece I have on Instagram, you'll see that I edited a lot of things to try to make it more coherent as far as light, water, reflections, all that stuff. And Like I said, my favorite part was the water that I did, because that's probably the part I worked the hardest on. But in doing that, I took the focus away from Aesmir and I kind of put it all on water and reflections. So in fixing one thing, I kind of messed up something else. But like I said, you have to log those types of things away and just work on it on another piece. After I was done, I did do a refined line art, so if anybody wants to color that, they can. I'll probably put it up in my Patreon. So there's Aesmir the Falls. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like this, go ahead and leave a like. If you dislike it, then leave a dislike and tell me why. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.